Welcome back to the show. It's week 10 of the NFL. We got a lot of great things lined up for you this week. We've had a couple weeks off due to some technical errors with the NFL and their TV right deals, but I tell you what, we got things under control again, so we're gonna get back on track. And we're gonna start by looking around the league and letting you know who the pretenders are and who the contenders are for this year's playoff berths. We're going to start with the AFC. Let's face it, that's the biggest story of the year so far. The Buffalo Bills are 8-0. That's right, folks. The Buffalo Bills are the last team to remain undefeated up to this point in the season. They're currently at 8-0. They got the Tennessee Titans this week. That's going to be another great matchup. But if you would have told anyone at the beginning of the season the Buffalo Bills will be 8-0 at this point in the season, they would have called you crazy, and you probably would have lost a lot of street cred too. But let's face it, they are contenders, and you got to look out for them. So if you got the Bills on your schedule, don't think that's going to be an easy win this season at all. The next team on our list for contenders has got to be the New England Patriots. This team they've traded away so much talent over the last 2 years. You would think there's no way in hell that they're going to be able to compete, but yet they're sitting at 8-1. I mean, they traded Tom Brady to the Bills, and that might be why the Bills are 8-0, but I don't think so. I think it's the Bills' running game. I think Brady's just being a game manager and getting to benefit from the great running skills of C.J. Spiller. But they brought in a newcomer who had a 44 quarterback rating. He's almost raised that 100 points. He now has a 138.8 quarterback rating. He's got 20 touchdowns with only 6 interceptions, and he's currently in 5th in passing. I mean, the guy's just balling right now for the New England Patriots. Ryan Mount was traded to the Washington Redskins for a first and second. The owner felt so embarrassed about giving up a first and second, he sold the team. And it took the new owner a few weeks after going 0-4 to finally give him a shot. Now he's got the highest quarterback rating in the league, of 143.8. So, I mean, if New England, if they get a hold of a quarterback, they're going to turn him into a Pro Bowler, future Hall of Famer. So if you need a quarterback, contact New England. I think they have another backup that might be just as good, and they're always loving to trade away talent for draft picks. Keep that in mind. But they are 8-1. They are contenders, and their only loss this season comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's no shame in losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's one of the best coaches in the league. He's going to beat you with the run, he's going to beat you with the pass, and he's going to play excellent defense. So that's the next team on the list, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're currently at 8-1. Their only loss this season came to the Kansas City Chiefs when the Chiefs were ducking him, and the game had to be a coin flip, and of course the Chiefs win it because they figured that was the only way they could get the win. So technically I believe they're really at 9-0 with the Bills, but statistically speaking we have to say they are 8-1. The next team we're going to talk about is going to be the Houston Texans. This is a very resilient team. They lost their starter, Matt Schaub, when the New England Patriots, Raymond Gilbert, just took his head off and might have ended his career. And Teddy, if you're out there, we'd love to get another call in and get an update if you can. But right now we're going to take a look at the Texans. They've went through 3 quarterbacks now. They started with Matt Schaub, and he went down. And it's probably a good thing because Tienko, he came in, and this guy, he's got serious skills. If only he had a green card, he probably would be a Pro Bowl quarterback for the NFL for years to come. But unfortunately, Teddy made that call, and he was deported. But T.J. Yates has now taken over the reins and is leading this team, and he's hitting 400 and 500 yards like it's nothing a game. And that might be simple when you got guys like Dallas Strong, Andre Johnson. I mean, they just got plenty of talent on that team, but they are finding ways to win with a third-string quarterback. They currently sit at 6-3, and they are truly contenders. The next team we're going to take a look at has got to be the Cincinnati Bengals. They're currently sitting at 5-3. They haven't made the playoffs the last 2 seasons. Ordinarily, you would think this is a locked team for the playoffs. They have one of the better defenses in the league. Their offense scores enough points to allow their defense to say, hey, look here, if you don't give up 14 points a game, we can handle it. So as long as they don't get forced into passing the ball, that's about the only weak spot that coach even has. And they're currently, like I say, sitting at 5-3, and I think they're going to make the playoffs this year. They are contenders. The next team we're going to take a look at has got to be the Oakland Raiders. The Black Hole. That's right, folks. The Raiders are 5-3, tied currently with the Denver Broncos for their division, although I do think they'll pull away late in the season and win this division. Kansas City had an easy schedule last year, and they made the playoffs and they won a division. But this year, Kansas City, the only way they're getting wins is if they get coin tosses. They're currently sitting at 4-4, and they really should be at 2-6. But let's get back to the Raiders. They play good defense, and they have a very good offense. If you're playing them at home, don't look for it. They're 5-1. On the road, you might have your best shot. They're currently sitting at 0-2. But I do believe they'll end up winning this division, and they will be contenders for the playoff spots. This next contender, they might actually shock you folks. The Tennessee Titans. Who would have ever thought a team that can give up 60 points a game could actually be a contender for a playoff spot? But this year they seem to have that a little bit more under control, and they've actually allowed Chris Johnson to get this run the ball. Can you believe it? He's actually running the ball, and they're playing decent defense, and that's currently why they're sitting at 5-3 and contenders. But we will hold our judgment until later. They play the Bills this week, and the Bills, like I say, 8-0, only undefeated team left in the league right now. We'll see how they come out on top. If they give up 50 to the Bills, let's face it, we're going to take them from the contenders and we're going to put them over in the pretenders. And we'll find that out a little bit later tonight. Well, that's going to do it for our version of the contenders in the AFC. And yes, we did leave off Jacksonville. That was a playoff team last year, and they even took down the Patriots in the playoffs last year. But this year, it just seems like they don't have as much going for them, and I just don't think that they're going to be a contender this year. The Titans, if they continue what they're doing, and the Texans, I just don't see how three teams are going to make it from that conference. The Denver Broncos, they're sitting at 5-3, and a lot of people have them in the contenders, but we're going to put them in the pretenders right now because we just think that their defense just isn't going to be able to do enough, and their offense is, well, Tebow can only take you so far. God bless him, love him, but he can only take you so far. We're going to take a little break from the contenders and the pretenders, basically because the NFC has three teams that can make a deep run in the playoffs. That would be the defending Super Bowl champions, Carolina Panthers, the explosive offense of the New York Giants, and that incredible defense set up over there with the San Francisco 49ers. Everyone else pretty much has a legitimate shot at making the playoffs, and they'll probably make it with a 7-9 record. So let's go ahead and get to our callers. They've been waiting for a while. Caller number one, what do you got for us?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. It's Teddy again, Matt Shaw's best friend. Just calling in with an update on Matt. He was doing so well, the doctor said he could probably go home in a couple months. But unfortunately, the last time I left the ESPN highlights on, and he saw Raymond Gilbert, and that's all it took. He's now in a catatonic state. He stares at the wall for 24 hours a day. It's been like that the last 3 days. I thought I was doing him a favor when I took care of Peter Tianko and I got him deported. And I thought, hey, that's going to be an easy way to make sure Matt gets his job back next year. But then TJ Yates comes in looking like Dan Marino in his prime, throwing 400 or 500 yards a game, 4, 5, 6 TDs in a game. I mean, come on, man. What do I have to do to ensure Matt keeps his job?
Hey, Teddy, thanks for the call, buddy, and we really appreciate the update on Matt, and we all hope he gets better. I don't know. The only thing I can really say is just make sure you don't leave the highlights on, because if you do leave the highlights on, chances are the New England Patriots are going to be a part of it. That defense is vicious, and if he sees Raymond Gilbert and he put it into catatonic state, if he sees that hit on him, who knows what that's going to do to him. That might kill him. So just please, buddy, make sure you don't leave the highlights on anymore, and we all hope he gets better. But as far as next year, I don't know, man. TJ Yates is on fire right now. I don't see how he's going to be losing his job to Matt Shaw, who's, let's face it, he's pretty fragile. And I got to tell you, you might want to look around looking for a new best friend, because I'm not sure if Matt's going to make it out of this. Let's go to our next caller. Caller number 2, what do you got for us?
Wow, I'm actually back on the air. This is awesome. I've been calling in every day and you guys aren't taking my calls. I'm starting to think you're pissed off at me. But hey, I'm back on the air now, so let's talk a little football. We got a lot of great things going on here in Atlanta. Excuse me for the background noise. The NFL security is helping me fortify my home. A couple lunatic fans found out where I live. They've been trying to kill me all night. And told me don't worry about it. After the NFL security's done, no one will be able to get in or out. Although I'm still a little confused on how I'm supposed to get out, but I'm sure he's got a plan for that. Let's just talk a little football. What do you got for me?
Hey, Myron, it doesn't really surprise me, buddy, that the fans are trying to kill you. You are the GM of the Atlanta Falcons, and you've pretty much ruined that team. But hey, all's not lost. You are in the NFC. You could possibly make the playoffs with a 7-9 record. Do you think you can do it?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. Things aren't looking good right now. The quarterback we traded for, Sam Bradford, the only thing he's good for is a good tug job after the games. He's thrown 7 TDs. That's not too bad. But the problem is he's thrown 17 INTs. He's got a 64.2 quarterback rating. And maybe because the running game's not helping, Michael the Burner Turner, he's whopping 3.2 yards a carry. He's just not very good on offense right now. Our defense, they're suspect at times. We did beat the Carolina Panthers. We beat the champs. That should count for 3 or 4 wins right there in my book. But oh no, the NFL awards us 1 win over the Super Bowl champs. It doesn't make a lot of sense in my book. We're 2-3 out of our last 5 games, and I think we're probably going to come up short, just barely short in the playoffs. We might miss it by 4 or 5 games.
Well, Martin, it doesn't really surprise me that you think that just missing the playoffs means you're 4 or 5 games short. But hey, you are the GM of the Atlanta Falcons, and whatever you got on Arthur Blank must be pretty damn good. And if I ever need a loan, buddy, I'm coming to you first, because I'm pretty sure that whatever you got, you could have Arthur Blank open up that checkbook pretty quickly. But we're going to go ahead and take caller number 3 right now. Caller, what do you got for us?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. It's Best Daddy, the GM of the Kansas City Chiefs. Sorry for the background noise. I'm down here at the police precinct having to file a claim. Someone stole my platform shoes, and it's quite embarrassing now when I walk around not even 4 foot tall. So all the kids always run up to me asking me where their Lucky Charms are, little bastards. Can't stand kids. But anyways, I just want to talk about how you guys are saying New England's this great GM. You know, they're doing these great things over there. But the fact of the matter is, we trade away good talent and they play bad. We take bad talent and we bring them into the fold and they play well. Prime example of that, Matt Castle. You know, with us, he had 85 quarterback rating. We send him over to Atlanta, he falls 50, 60 quarterback rating. You know, then he gets traded over to Washington, and he gets benched there. You know, so it's like, wow, we turned this guy that had no talent into trade value. And who do we get? We get Matty Ice. And we bring in Matty Ice, who had a 77 quarterback rating with the Atlanta Falcons, and he has a 105 quarterback rating with us. So I don't know what all this talk about the New England Patriots being so great. But if you look around, they got good players playing good at other teams. We're taking the bad talent and they're playing well with us, and we're giving away good talent and they're not playing very well without us. So obviously we're much better than New England Patriots, or as far as the front office goes. I mean, I think we're the best, and I just want to set the record straight on that.
You're absolutely right. Last year, Matty Ice was on fire. He had a 105 quarterback rating, and he obviously melted away or something because this year he's down to an 85.6. He's got 12 TDs, 13 INTs on the season. He only has 2 games with more TDs and INTs out of 8. So things aren't looking very good for you right now. I'm not really sure how the season's going to play out for you. You got a pretty rough road ahead of you, and we just want to say good luck, and we're going to take our next caller.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call again. I couldn't resist the opportunity to call in and tell Best Daddy where his platform shoes are. They're with me, buddy, so good luck getting them back. The NFL security's going to get out of here in about 10 minutes, and this fortress ain't going to be open for you or anybody else. Yeah, sure, I can't get out, but you know what? You can't get in. So the platforms are sticking with me. And yeah, you did rape me, rob me, whatever you want to say on our dealings, but you know what? You took advantage of someone that has a learning disability, and if you want to promote that that's the way you like to roll and like to brag about that, good for you, buddy. But I just think there's a lot of fans out there that's not going to really appreciate that.
Well, Marty never ceased to amaze me, that's for sure. And Best Daddy, I'm sure you're going to find a way to get back at him, buddy. Let's go ahead and take a look around. Hold on one second. We got some breaking news coming in. Okay, Teddy, if you're listening, turn off the TV right now. ESPN's playing highlights of Gilbert. We know that Matt is in a catatonic state staring right at that TV. Please turn it off. On his last game, he had 4 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He even had a pick. So I'm telling you right now, he's a QB killer. Turn it off. You know what? We're going to go ahead and end the show right here. Folks, we're afraid that Teddy's going to call back in with some really bad news. We just can't really handle this right now. Just remember, get your games in. Everyone, good luck.